Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Convos with Sazón with yours truly, Cata Mejía. With me today is Andrea Lopez, comedian, impressionist, media host, and content creator. I am sure you have seen her all around. How are you? Welcome.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to have you here. Honestly, when I reached out to you, I expressed that I've been following your work for quite some time. And we'll get into all of the work that you do. But to kind of set the stage, honestly, I want to hear about your early beginnings. What were you like as a child? You know, were you outwardly like in people's faces? You were telling jokes? Maybe you were on the shy side, somewhere in between? Tell me.
Never shy. Always ready to chit chat. Always ready to talk. I loved making friends. I'm very social. I think I'm like one of those extroverted, gets energy from people. And I don't know if you can relate to that.
Just yes, like 100%.
I love being in a group setting and hearing people's stories. So throughout school, I was always a big jokester. Always enjoyed the free periods where I could just like be talking with my friends. That was where I thrived. It was like, we have to go to history now. I'd rather just sit here and talk. But yeah, so I was always doing voices. I was always impersonating teachers. It was like one of those things where if I hear somebody with an amazing accent or a funny character, I'm like, I have to do them. I think it's so funny. And it's not in a weird way. It's just, I think you're amazing and the way you talk is interesting, and I have to redo it in my head to make it make sense. So always been this way. Always been an actual crazy person.
I don't know if crazy is the word, but I love it. I love it. Is anyone in your family a comedian or in the entertainment industry that maybe made it a little bit more realistic of a path for you when you were younger in terms of like, oh, my uncle or my aunt, whatever does this, so I'm going to follow in those footsteps?
I will say my family is full of characters and just funny, loud people. So I had a lot of influence from that. But my dad, he was never able to like fully take it to the next level, but he is a Latin percussionist. He plays the drums on the side, and he's also a big jokester. So he would answer the phone, the telemarketers, and do their voices back and be like, hello, that person does not live here. And, I would just hear him do those funny things. And so I picked that up and then I just took it to, I started doing my teachers, and then it kind of grew from there.
Okay. You mentioned your family is full of characters. How has your upbringing and your family environment influenced the type of comedy that you do and then also what you talk about in comedy? Because many comedians say, honestly, my life is my inspiration in terms of what I put out there. So talk more about that.
Definitely. I love dysfunctional family movies because I think it's so relatable. I'm like, oh, your family's also insane. And I just can relate to that on so many levels. And I also think it's real. So full of characters. I'm half Mexican, and my dad's side is the crazy loud Mexicans. We're drinking mezcal at the table, and we're chit-chatting about so-and-so, who's dating who. And like, oh my gosh, we're always gossiping, those chisme. And then my mom's side is a melting pot of different cultures. And so when we all get together, we call ourselves the Crayon Box. So I was just exposed to so many different cultures, African-American, Filipino, Swedish. That's all on my mom's side, like who my mom's sister's married. And so Christmas time is just a big gathering of just all these different people. And I grew up in Washington, D.C.
Me too.
So we have the DMV. Yes. So it's just, when you grow up in a city and you get to meet, you go to school with all different people, I think that has really shaped what my comedy is, where it's very inviting, and it's not exclusive to like one thing. So I do impressions of multiple different people. You know what I mean? It's not just Sofia Vergara. It's also like a Jersey Italian because now I live in Jersey, or you know what I mean? So, and then I've got some like Valley white girls because I went to high school with those type of girls. So it's really just this like huge array of characters that I've definitely engaged with or seen when I was growing up.
When we're younger, right, everyone has a dream of like what it is that they want to be when they grow up. There's an astronaut. I want to be a fashion designer, like many things.
Yeah.
What was that for you? Like, was it always, I want to pursue comedy seriously? Or did you have one idea and then that kind of progressed until eventually, you came across comedy more professionally?
Yes. I knew I wanted to be on the microphone, and I always looked up to Ryan Seacrest or Hoda Kotb, like Oprah Winfrey. So it was something in terms of just being on the microphone and sharing stories. And then on the side, I had this passion of voices, impressions, characters. So that lane was always Saturday Night Live, right? Because that was kind of just where you go. You're like, you do voices, you do Second City, you do Upright Citizens Brigade, and then you filter into Saturday Night Live. And I think now there's just so much more opportunity with phones, and you can have your own channels. That's your own platform to do your stuff. So that kind of has now grown into like this big thing where you can use your own platforms to, you don't have to get to SNL. Now, would I love to be on SNL? Of course. I had it engraved in my high school ring. I always tell people this. It says SNL on the inside of my high school ring.
Oh my gosh.
So I knew that was kind of the path. But now that I'm trickling down into all these other parts of comedy, I don't mind it. I like that. So as long as I'm able to just continue creating and make the bare minimum, I can put food on the table. Like, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? Because I just feel like that's such an outlet that I need. So yeah, I guess it was always, SNL. It wasn't necessarily the big blockbuster movies, but it was just to make people laugh.
Okay. I love it because as you mentioned SNL, I also saw you were on some Bravo show with Andy Cohen and he with your character Teresa from The Real Housewives of New Jersey, and he at one point was like, get this woman on SNL. And so maybe the more that you speak it out there, it will be something that you speak into existence. Exactly. Have you always had that main character energy? And I ask because on your podcast, Big Wigs, you spoke to your co-host about the fact that you were supposed to be a twin. So
yes. Oh my God. Look at the research that she's done here.
You were supposed to be a twin. So do you think that indirect or subconsciously you have that main character energy because it's like, I made it and she did it and so I have to be iconic type thing?
Right. Maybe subconsciously for sure. But I never walk into the room and say, like, the star is here. I've never had that. Now, I am a Leo, so if you engage in conversation with me, we'll be talking all day.
When is your birthday? Have we talked about this?
We haven't. It's August.
Okay, July 27th for me.
Oh, July 27th.
But I'm also a Leo.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're on the early side of it.
Yes.
I'm smack in the middle of August, August 13th.
Okay.
So, but Leo's lovely. Leo's love Leos, right?
Yes.
So, my mom always did make a joke, though, that because I absorbed my twins' energy, that now I have like all these different voices and people coming out of me at all times. So I'm like, okay, that's a little weird, but we'll go with that. Sure. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I love being like the attention person in the room, but I enjoy being loud.
Okay, let's talk about the twin for a second though, because obviously, as you know, I did my research, but maybe people don't know the background. So talk more about that, and then also like how you found out, like all the circumstances to all of the things.
Yeah, it's such a weird, funny thing, but sometimes when I say it to people, it's actually not as random or a strange occurrence as I think. Like, people are like, oh, that happened to me too. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So it's called vanishing twin syndrome. And it usually happens when the mom is under a lot of stress and they actually lose the one sac. So it was fraternal. So it could have been a boy. We have boy-girl twins that run in my family, actually. So we always thought maybe it was a boy. So at the 3-month mark, my mom went in for an ultrasound and it just showed the one sac absorbing the other sac. So we turn it into a joke now, but back then my mom was obviously devastated. This was her losing a child, but the doctor said, well, you also have another surviving sac in there. It's viable. And so she was like, oh my God, okay. So I don't even think she even knew that she had twins until that day. And they're like, hey, you've got twins. One's not going to make it, but one is. So it was this weird, happy, sad moment for her. But yeah, vanishing twin syndrome. It's really, really crazy.
So I'm actually not surprised because I think it was in Pitch Perfect that one of the characters, someone said like, oh, she ate her twin. And I'm like, oh my God, what is that? I didn't even know it was a thing. So when I heard obviously say that, I was like, wow, it is an actual thing. Like, it isn't one of those things that they use as a joke. You mentioned it being something understandably difficult for your mom and for your family. You've also mentioned that there are other things, that your family has faced off camera, obviously, you told me, and now you make it a joke or you make the best of it. Talk about the power of comedy when it comes to that. Both you as a comedian and using that as an outlet, and then also maybe hoping that those who see your comedy or interact with your work have it as a therapy as well.
Let me tell you, this is the most important thing in my life besides my faith: laughter. Laughter and movement is the best medicine. I stand by that. I went through the hardest year last year, and now I'm getting served all this astronomy stuff that's like, this is 2026 is the year for Leo. Last year, if it was hard for you, like, this year is going to get better. I'm like, okay, I don't really feed into it that much, but like, I'd love to hear that everyone else had a hard year too. But laughter gets me through it. My family, my mom always dealt with depression and, just working so hard to make ends meet. And so we always, in my family, used laughter as a way to lighten the mood or just get out of a depressive episode. I really think if you cannot laugh at yourself, you'll never be able to make it through. Like, there's got to be a levity about life, because life is so hard. Like, it is deep, it is painful. You're going to go through so much shit. And if you're not able to laugh at yourself or just the craziness of it all, like when I can't even think of an example, but like, a car comes by and it sprays water all over you. You have an interview you have to go do, and then somehow like you trip, and then New Yorker's like, "Get up, asshole! Like we're walking here," and you're like, "Oh my God, it can't get any worse." You have to sit there and you go, "What? Like what just happened?" You know. So my family and I, like I said, we've always used comedy. It's been a huge help. My mom was diagnosed with early onset glaucoma back when I was in college, so more than 10 years ago now, and that was a big blow for our family. We're like, how are we going to do this? You know, she's 50 and being told she's going to go blind soon. So, you know, my brother, me, and my father, we all rallied together and we're like, we can take this diagnosis and it can ruin us, or we can just try to survive it. And I'll be honest, there are some days where I break down and crying. I don't know how to help my mom anymore. You know, laughter or doing characters for her was always our way of like, okay, you're having a hard day today. Let me impersonate my funny aunt. And then, you know, that brings her out of it. Or I'll impersonate the male person or just something random. And, you know, it gets her out of a funky mood. So I think, yeah, it's been such an integral part of who I am as a person and why I always use comedy in hard times. And I hope that, you know, if you are feeling sad right now, get out. Just get moving, go for a walk, and then book a comedy show. And I swear, just smiling and laughing will at least inspire you to just get out a little bit. If you can just get one foot in front of the other one, I promise you a comedy show will do it for you.
Yeah, I can attest to that. And also, I'm pretty sure there's science to back that up. Like
there is
the
science.
pro of like laughter. This isn't just like a nice thing to do. Like this is backed by research.
It is. Something like a smile. If you keep on exercising the smile, like somehow it'll turn your mood around. Endorphins.
I don't know. Listen, I believe it. All of the science and anecdotes work for me. When was a moment that it kind of clicked for you that you're funny, like you're really good at comedy, and it's not just like people who know you are laughing because they know you, but it's something that you can pursue more professionally and kind of more big picture? Because I know you went to, we talked about you going to college for journalism and media and TV and film, similarly to I did. So from that point to obviously now, how has that journey kind of paved out for you?
I went the school route. I got the degree at television radio. My first job was radio outside of college, and loved that. Loved doing the commercials where I got to read in character and I could turn the commercials in. So I always knew, I'm like, okay, clearly I still love doing voices and characters, but this is going to pay the bills for right now. It wasn't until 2019, so that would be 3 years after I graduated, I got reached out to by a casting agent, and I had made an Instagram. My friends had encouraged me, they're like, use social media, put your stuff out there. So he had discovered, was a scout for this new upcoming show. It's called Bring the Funny. It only had one season.
We'll talk about that too.
Yes, but he reached out. I didn't know if it was real or not, and he said, you know, we need an impressionist. It's a whole array of different characters, like, you know, America's Got Talent for comedians. So they've got sketch, they've got comedians, they wanted impressionists. So they flew me out to LA, and that moment was, you know, I had no representation. I had never been on a live television before. I was just posting videos in my parents' basement, just wearing the most shabbiest of wigs from my grandmother, like that she used to use. And so for me, this was just a surreal moment. I had no idea what I was going out there to do, but I got repped through that, and I said, wow, if I got invited to just do what I do on a national stage, like somebody's got to believe in me, right? So that's when it clicked for me. When that show aired, I started seeing numbers online. I started getting reached out to by different news outlets, and I went on the news to do interviews, and that was a really, really, really fun year for me. And then the world, you know, came crashing down. But
pandemic.
We were almost there, but it's all part of the journey.
Yeah. What about the experience of the show, maybe the behind the scenes that people didn't get to see if they watched the show, helped propel your craft?
Meeting Kenan Thompson, who was always one of my idols, right? SNL, longest cast member. Kenan, I mean, he's one of the greats, right? And he started in sketch. So for him to have to tell me that my second time, it was like there was different rounds. So the second round, after I had finished it and off air, he was like, this looks like an SNL audition. This looks like exactly what you did here. You need to do that for SNL. That was the biggest moment. I think I cried on stage, and I had a moment with Chrissy Teigen, who was another judge, and she recorded me on stage, which didn't air as well. But all these moments where these people that I had looked up to or I had seen so much of, you know, giving me praise was just this like crazy, like, is this really happening right now? So yeah, just having other people believe in me besides my mom and my dad.
Sometimes that's what it takes because
Right.
even though our parents are our biggest supporters and obviously they're as a result they're not going to lie to us.
Right.
I think internally we're like, okay, but you love me.
Right,
So
right. You have
that
to say
external
this.
non-biased but like validation is kind of important as well.
Yeah.
Would you say that opened doors for you even before the pandemic happened? You know, you said because it's true, the world ended. So many opportunities, I'm sure, for everyone, myself included, were kind of cut short. So what was the aftermath of having been on such a national stage?
They don't really prepare you for it. Once they send you home, they're like, all right, we're going to edit it and this will come out, you know, whenever. So when it aired, I saw a huge jump in numbers online and I hadn't really experienced that before. So, you know, at the time, I think I had like 3,000 followers. I jumped up to 10K. So you finally got that like K number in there. And this was back in like, seriously, 2019. So it still was kind of this new thing of like maybe going viral. But that in turn, that show, once it aired, I got reached out to by an agent, went to meet with her in New York. I was living in DC at the time. So this having an agent now in New York meant I had to go into meetings in New York and I had to. So it was like a big life change of, do I move to New York? This is really exciting. So yeah, I definitely think so many opportunities and connections came through there, and also meeting the other contestants who were so talented. And I had imposter syndrome. I mean, I was like, you guys are all repped. You guys have been in the industry, some of them for, you know, like 10 years. I was this fresh-faced baby who knew nothing about anything. And so to be in the room with them was really cool too. And just making those connections was also very helpful. I'm still friends with some of the people today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Comedy, as many other fields, people have said, can be tough for women, especially. So how have you navigated that? Have you found that to be true? Has it maybe gotten better with time? Is it one of those industries that adjacent to comedy, like once you kind of prove what you have, maybe you're a little bit safe, I guess, from what it means to be a minority in such a big industry?
Yeah. I think women will always have to struggle with that. There's always going to be bias. You walk into a room usually full of men. You know, I've been on a lineup of a comedy lineup of all men, and it used to intimidate me. And now I just say, who cares? You know, just do your thing. You just have to kind of like drown out the craziness. But you know, back in college, it was an all boys sketch group, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I had a couple girls. We were all freshmen. We wanted to join it, and the guys were like, "Sorry, your stuff just like we don't relate to it. Like we don't get it." And I'm like, okay, so here's the thing, though. There are people that would relate to it, and you would build out the sketch group. It would be more inclusive, right? And like it wasn't clicking for them. So, you know, that was my first kind of real world experience where I was like, oh, okay, you guys just want to, it's the boys club, and like no one else is allowed to enter it. And then, you know, I got a little bit older and you start seeing that happen more and more and more. But I do think that so many incredible Latina artists are being included now, and there's more opportunities for us. And now there's a big push for inclusion, and we want to hear those stories. And small, you know, these like independent films is such a great way to kind of break out in that space, because, you know, you fund it yourself. I think I'm getting off topic from like comedy, but
it's okay. Tell me.
I think there is a lot more space for us now because people are just craving real life, authentic stories. And I used to be so scared of like sharing that because you think no one else is going to get this. No one's going to relate to it. No, that's what makes it so raw and human and relatable. It's just, you know, when I watch like old clips of George Lopez and, you know, Fluffy, and you're like, that's the shit that's so funny, is just because I know that. Like, my mom would throw a chancla at your head, like stuff like that. You know, that's a trope, but it is true. And I think that I do think there's like, we're making small strides in being more included, and I'm not as afraid anymore to be just like the only woman in the room.
Okay, I love that. And as a woman, I mean, I have to say, on the bias front, I think it's almost inverted as an audience member. And I say that because if they're a woman, I'm even more excited about it. Precisely because I know how hard it was for them to even get on the lineup to begin with. And because it is still somewhat rare to see a woman within a repertoire. I also have to give major props to comedians, obviously yourself included, because even though I'm the type of person who's super extroverted, like very little things give me kind of like fear, or like I'm not shy at all, I can't imagine myself on a stage in real time or otherwise and having real time reaction. And I know that that's part of what you guys feed off of, the energy, which is a double-edged sword.
Right.
So talk about what it's like to potentially bum on stage and even on the internet with the, you know, with the risk of getting canceled and kind of like you put things out there and you don't know what the response is going to get. So what has your process been to make peace with the content that you have in real life and in on the internet and just kind of let it go?
I'm still dealing with it. I think everyone, until you reach, you know, I listen to Chelsea Handler and she talks about just not giving a fuck anymore. She's like, once you get to like 50s, 60s, you've really like accomplished a lot. You just don't care anymore. So I think now I will say, like, I definitely still am getting over that. What are people going to think? What's going to happen if nobody laughs? Like you're saying, when you bomb. You have to go through those things. You have to bomb. I have bombed on stage. I bombed one of my SNL auditions that, you know, and I just walked out of the room and I was like, well, I know that's not going anywhere, but you did it. So just be happy that you did it. You got over it. You faced your fear. And now you go be creative and put your creative juices in something else. And you just, I think it's a part of life though. I think, you really just cannot let it get to you. But there, of course, there's times where it like really, really gets me down and I have imposter syndrome and I'm like, you're not funny anymore. And that was all last year. Like I went through a very big creative rut and I've been in this industry for 10 years now. So I think there's always going to be ups and downs, especially in this industry. This goes for a lot of other industries too. But I think you just have to, the only way to get over it is to go through it. So you just have to like be in that rut, live in it. If you have a writer's block, just be like, okay, this is not going to last. I know I'm going to get over it. And then you eventually do. And in the recent like month, I feel like, I don't know if it was a new year, but I feel so much more like I'm honing my craft again. I'm feeling more creative. I'm feeling a lot more ideas and I'm just letting it flow now. You know why? Because you have nothing to lose. Like you legit have nothing to lose. And if this is your dream, just do it. Yeah. Just do it. Get over it.
When you get in a creative rut, right? What do you do to kind of look for inspiration? Obviously, you mentioned your real life is inspiration, but because it is your real life, maybe that's all you kind of like are familiar with. So how do you get out of that and channel in new ideas?
I always keep a notebook and I have a running list of things. Some of them are absolutely so stupid, like they make no sense. But I go back in my old jokes and I'm like, okay, what did I write like 3 years ago that I could utilize today? Like, is this an evergreen topic that I could bring back? I think just always writing your ideas down, no matter if you think they're stupid or not, you just keep a running list. I think that's always good to just kind of like get your creative juices flowing. I'll also throw on a wig. That's part of my craft. I'll find a weird wig, I'll put it on and just do a voice. Just do anything. And somehow there's always a thread of something in whatever you put out. I have videos that bomb and I'm like, oh, this is going to do so well. This shit is going to hit so hard. And like you get no views. You're like, okay, so it wasn't a hit like I thought. However, there was, you know, like that character could lead to something else or it resonated with like one person and they reached out to you and now they want to write something with you. And also collaboration. Huge. So helpful. When I'm in a creative rut, I'm like, okay, I'm going to call up my one friend that I did this one sketch with and whoever you admire, just have a conversation. Take somebody out to coffee. Just get talking. Just start talking, you know, and just something always comes out of it. Okay. Now, there are days when I'm in a rut and I don't get out of bed and I'm
because you're human.
I'm disastrous.
And that's okay.
Right. I'm sad and my mom comes in and I'm always usually like the hype up person. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, Mom, I'm allowed to have an off day, okay? You can have an off day.
What was the first impression that you did and people were like, wait a second, do that again?
Oh my gosh. Her name is Miss Maslow. She was our religion teacher, Bible studies. I went to an all-girls Catholic school in D.C. And she's a practicing nun. She was at the time. I don't know if she left. There was rumors that she had left the nunnery. I don't know. There was drama back then. Like Miss Maslow left the nunnery, but she had this deep kind of. She would go talk about ecclesiastics, and after you know Bible class, we would all go into like you know talk about what project we were gonna do or like what book of the Bible. I'm like, okay, so you're gonna take John, you're gonna take ecclesiastics, and I really want you guys to kind of like get in there and really think about what is God trying to tell you. And I would do that for my friends, and they would be like, oh my God, Miss Maslow. That was for me so random. That was my first impression that everybody was like, "Oh my God, do Miss Maslow."
Okay.
So.
And on the internet, I know that the Kourtney Kardashian one has been huge. I'm pretty sure that's how I came across your work many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to, the wigs and the look and and the backgrounds and all of that, were you expecting that big of a reaction when you decided to take her on?
Definitely not. I look back at my old Kourtney clips and I sound nothing like her. So impressions are definitely a grow over time kind of thing, and you got to work at it and watch their clips. But the thing that I loved about her was the long R's, like the R's and then the crispy S's. So once I got that down, I was like, oh, this is fun. Like, we're going to have some fun with this. I never thought it was a perfect storm, right? The pandemic. And then I started posting videos and people were bored. And so that's right when I started posting my impressions on TikTok. And that Kourtney blew up and way bigger than I ever thought. I saw the views in the morning and I was like, is this a glitch? Like, what's happening? I'm used to, 5,000 views and I was happy with that. But yeah, the Kourtney's, it was like in the millions and it was just like my head exploded. I'm like, what? So
have you heard from her yet? I know that you previously have mentioned Chloe has interacted with your content, but what about Kourtney?
Kourtney, for some reason, you've been such a bitch. You have never reached out. I love you, but get it together. Let's do a project, right? I would love to. No, she never has. And I jokingly call her, I mess with them. But my friend Anna and I, we do Chris and Kourtney together, and it's this funny mother-daughter duo. And I think it's we just put the camera on record and we go for it. But Chloe has reached out. Kris Jenner has never reached out. We're waiting for her. I think Anna and her are doing a duo video.
Anna's Kris Jenner is also really funny.
The laugh, it's so good. We wanted on a track, the laugh track for Kris Jenner. But yeah, Chloe was the one. We did a video for Aloe, and Chloe was like, go to Fabletics. So we went to Fabletics store because Chloe has her whole thing, and we just have fun with it. It's not really necessarily to meet them, although that would be a really fun
full circle moment.
Full circle moment. Exactly.
Okay, so I really want to show people the range because you have so many characters and they're all spot on. And similarly to what you mentioned earlier, if it's not a celebrity that we're already familiar with, it is a type of person that we have absolutely interacted with, which is what makes it so funny.
Right.
So the next couple of questions, we're obviously staying on topic, but they're going to be in the voices of a character that you've already put out there. Okay.
Okay.
So, in the voice of Sofia Vergara, can you tell me what goes into developing a character and what's your process specifically?
You really have to watch the body language, and you have to love the person, the whole being, right? And, for me, I have beautiful titties, I have a nice ass, I have beautiful hair. So just, make sure you are accentuating all of the assets and, and the things that they say, a modern family in my country, we say, IJ. And I love saying that, I don't know, in my San Manolo. And I have a panty line in Walmart that you all should check out.
How long does it take to actually develop a character? What goes into it beyond just watching clips?
Right. I would say on average for me in my past, it's always been about 2 years. To really, really, really where you can just turn it on like that. 2 years. I think I was working on Teresa Giudice. I started with her in the pandemic because I thought the way she said, yeah, was so funny. Just, yeah. Loved it. So I would be practicing. And, again, the old clips are never great. I know what I did wrong in every single clip. But you continually do it and you continually get down their sayings. And by, the year and a half, 2 year mark, yeah, you're rolling off with it. It just becomes you just flip the switch.
All right. In the voice of Kourtney Kardashian, how do you decide what stays in the drafts versus what you actually post? And that can be a character. That can be a part of a joke or anything along those lines. What is that decision process?
It just cannot be lame-o, stamo. It has to be something funny. I think there are some things that I sit on for a long time, and then I get to a point and I just say, fuck it, post it, So there's really nothing that sits in the drafts for too long, unless I have a booger in my nose. But other than that, if it's funny to me, I just post it.
Okay.
Yeah, because who cares? Who cares?
It is so impressive to me because just like people are bilingual or polylingual, A switch.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally like I'm buffering right now because I'm like, how does she do it? Okay, in the voice, that would be the answer to this question.
Okay.
What is a voice that has not hit the internet yet that you love to do, but maybe you're not asked for it or you're still working on?
Oh my God. What I was working on, now I cannot believe he was, oh my gosh. I bought the entire look too, and I haven't released it yet. His name, he was he was one of the candidates for New York mayor.
Okay, not Zoran because he won.
Not Zoran. The one that was in the Angels, and you guys know who I'm talking about. He wears a beret. And he uses
yes, I know who you're talking about.
Producer Angel, come and talk to us. Well, this is not a good.
Well, we can look it up.
Yeah, Curtis Sliwa. Okay, thank you. So he's very New York, and he uses these like extraneous, like crazy SAT words, just insane. I mean, I was writing this thing for like New Year's resolutions for him because he's just the way he would talk. He would never answer the question. They'd be like, so what's your plan for the New York transit system? I know, it's always breaking down. All right, so we're going to have police on every single car because back in 98, I was actually shot 9 times by the crime family, Gambino. I was stuck in a car. I was stuffed with a ball gag in my mouth. Like, he never answers the question, right? And so I just wanted to do, like, this whole trope about him, and I haven't released the video yet, but I want to make it a whole long series of just Curtis Sliwa, because if you guys go back to his old clips, the way he talks is so eloquent. Like, he uses these words that I've never even heard before. He's hilarious. He's a character, and that's who I'm sitting on right now.
Now that you're mentioning that, and it's so stereotypical of politicians, people who use big words,
grandiose vocabulary.
They do that to alienate people,
right?
And it's a distraction.
I'm like, what did you just say? Like,
exactly.
What are we even What are we even talking about?
That's
right?
very strategic.
Very
people
strategic.
do it all the time.
Yes. Now we're catching on, Curtis. But he cracks me up. So that's something I'm sitting on, and I've always wanted to do Cardi B, but But there are people that have mastered it, and so when I see somebody that really masters it, and I think they'll do it better than I can, I gotta let it go.
In the voice of Jennifer Coolidge, have you ever felt like you've been boxed in as the impressions girl? And if so, how have you moved past that? Because in the introduction, you don't just do impressions, you don't just do comedy, you do it all, honestly.
And that does come with just nowadays, I feel like you have to have your hands in like so many different things. Like, you're not just a content creator, you got to be an editor. And when you are sending in your audition tapes, you're also editing those things and you're cutting down things. So they want you to kind of just like do everything nowadays. And when you're making content for a brand, they're like, okay, I want you to write it, direct it, produce it, edit it, color grade it. You're like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? So thankfully, through experience, like, you end up like doing all those things. So I do feel. However, being boxed in, yes.
And Jennifer.
Oh God, I mean, yeah. I guess when I was little, I would be boxed in, like doing voices and wearing wigs and stuff. And I'm so much more than that, I just, I think people always see me as Kourtney or Jennifer, but I'm so much bigger, and I have a lot of dreams and aspirations. I mean, I want to write a movie, I want to star in a drama. I don't always want to be the bimbo. So yeah, I'm working towards that, and I'm still young, right? I still have a lot of life to live, and when people box you in, you gotta break out of the box, So that's what I'm breaking out. Yeah.
I am not a smoker, but I am laughing as if I were. And this is me, by the way, anytime I see your content. So seeing this in real life is wild. Okay. In the voice of Edna from The Incredibles.
Oh my God, I haven't done it in a long time.
Which is a personal favorite because I usually wear glasses. This obviously I'm wearing contacts to look presentable, but usually any loved one will randomly FaceTime me and I'll have my glasses and I'm like, hello? It's like up the nostrils.
What is it? Who are you? What do you want?
So talk about the fact that you've worked for huge names like Comedy Central, CBS, NBC, and how different it is creating for traditional media versus social media.
I mean, darling, you're not stuck in a box, You can be more creative. Use your own freedom and liberties. So, I think working for the man is not as fun, You have to utilize what you like to do and what you enjoy. So that's what I do, I think when I worked for Comedy Central, I had to only do what they wanted. And now I can do whatever I want. So it's very nice. I enjoy it a lot, darling, So, yeah.
I love it.
I don't know if that fully answered the question, but
Yeah, you get to the biggest difference being the full creative control and not being like restricted to a specific ask.
For sure. I mean, you're always going to be on a project, and I do think about going back into corporate all the time because I do think it's a great way to make a living and actually have healthcare that's actually worth it, that actually works. But I will say there is so much fun with making your own schedule and being able to like really, you can spend an entire day building out this like random thought that you had, and that's very fun. And I do feel very blessed that I've gotten to that point. But listen,
and it's not for everyone either. So power to you.
It isn't. And we were talking to you. How has it been different for you? Kind of just being able to now really get to like do the podcast and do projects that you enjoy.
It has been wonderful, honestly, because I feel like I have more liberty, honestly, during the day to schedule it whenever the guest can, and so I think it's opened the doors in terms of who I can have on because I can be more flexible. That's number one. Number two, I can really take much more time with the research, with the questions, which again, this isn't scripted, but I do want to make sure that we touch on absolutely everything to give the guest and the story the credit that they deserve, and so it has been really nice to turn this from a passion project to a much more involved kind of add-on to everything that I do. Yeah. Back to you, though. In the voice of Penelope Cruz, how do you protect your voice both literally and figuratively?
Wow. I haven't even done... Let me get into Penelope. Let's see. Emirates Cruises. What is she's Emirates? Fly Emirates. I think it's a beautiful thing to have. You have to have your own voice. It has to be independent. And God, I haven't even done her. I have to say, what are my words that I get into characters? I'll have a couple words for Penelope. It's fly better, fly Emirates. She's so sexy and sultry. You know what I mean? And when she's on that flight, I don't know if you guys are familiar with her Emirates commercial, but she's like the
clearly that was a piece of study for you.
She does. Nobody really got the video that I did, but it was it's just so funny that ended up with her. But that whole like her face being on the Emirates Emirates flights is so funny to me because she's like clicking through like the screens and it's just like this luxurious plane and she's just being sexy on an airplane, and it's just funny to me because it's such a good question. I don't know if I can answer it in Penelope.
That's okay.
I think
in the voice of Andrea Lopez.
And you know what's funny? People sometimes be like, I don't even know what your real voice sounds like. I'm like, well, it's not that interesting. It's just a voice. But I don't think my voice is that interesting. I would say it is hard. I mean, especially I struggle with this, actually. This is a really, really good question. I think this is important to talk about. We're constantly, if you're on your phone, you're constantly scrolling. You're constantly being influenced by a million different things. Your voice is being clouded by like this person and telling you what you should believe. And some of it's AI, and it's not even a real human that you're listening to, which is so crazy. But it goes back to your core values, right? So when I do this when I'm in a rut too. I'm like, who am I? What are my beliefs? What is me? What did I grow up with? Like, what's my background? Who is Andrea Lopez? And when I put on wigs and everything, like I make a joke about it and I feel so much safer with a wig on because you don't actually have to reveal yourself. But what I've noticed is what people cling on to when they come to your channel or when they meet you is they want to know who you are, and then how can they relate? So it's relatability and it's authenticity. And I have to keep on reminding myself that. And I think that's how I'm able to just keep it real. You just have to really, really know that that's what's going to connect you to other people. Is just the authentic being you. No one else can be you. Sometimes I'm like, this video is stupid, or no one's gonna get this. That's okay. It came from you. You were created with God's image. Sorry, I don't mean to get like religious, but I believe that we were all created in an image and likeness of God, and we are all beautiful. And even if you're not religious, you can still feel that you were created for a certain reason, and you have a voice, so you should use it.
I agree. First of all,
That was
wholeheartedly.
such a long
No, I agree. I really do believe wholeheartedly, and I think it is very important to talk about that as well, because it doesn't look the same for everybody,
Right.
and it's something that it isn't a one size fits all either. Whatever worked for you, maybe when you faced that yesterday, might not work in a week from now.
Right.
Along the same lines, reflecting on your trajectory, right? In the voice of Paris Hilton, how would you say you have managed to keep the motivation going when maybe the momentum lacked in terms of not receiving the reaction that you expected or the outcome that you were working so hard towards?
Every day is a new day, and you never know who's on the other end of a phone call. I think I've been like months and months where I didn't get a job, I didn't get booked, and then one day somebody called, I got an email for this really exciting job, and it brought me back. So you just have to keep going, never stop, and just keep on living life, because that's hot. Keep on doing you, and I promise you, your time is coming. A lot of times I think what I put out there is never being seen by the right people, but I promise you, one connection leads to another, and then that leads to another, and then you get the job. So yeah, that's what it is.
But seriously,
Yeah.
there's been times where I did not book a job for like months and months and months, and that was 2025, and I had to get a job as a sample girl, and I would sample wine and cheese at Italy. This is not a joke. That was a part-time job to pay the rent. On the side, I was also working and starting with a new management team, and I kept on working with them and doing branding deals, and I got to a certain point where I had enough money saved up. I was doing really well. I was getting more hosting gigs, getting more acting gigs, and I was able to leave that part-time job, and now I've been on a steady grind where I'm like getting the jobs. But yeah, you never know. Like you in this industry, you can get an email today and it will change your life.
I have to touch on this just because you mentioned wine and cheese. You love charcuterie boards, don't
Love
you?
it-
That's like
love
a
a cheese
thing
board.
that you love. Tell me about that.
I don't know what it is about it. I love cheese.
Same.
I love a good Gouda. I love a sharp cheddar. And I just think the cheese board is so fun. I created this show with my old co-host, who was my first boss in media, Sarah Fraser. She's got an amazing podcast.
Love her.
Love her.
DC, represent.
Hot 99.5,
Yes.
The Kane Show. If you're a DMV native, you know about The Kane Show. And so I was Sarah Fraser's intern for a long time, then turned co-host. And we developed this show together where charcuterie boards are meant to be shared amongst friends, amongst people. So we had this type of deal where we would make a charcuterie board that's tailored to the guest, and then we would just like chit-chat and talk. And I think that's what it is. I think everybody sits around the cheese board. It brings everybody together. Everybody can find something that they love on the board. And it's delicious. And also it tastes so good. And then you can have some wine with it. And I just love the whole thing around cheese boards. I just think it's such an inviting, fun little
I
thing.
will also say, as a charcuterie lover myself.
Do you love the charcuterie?
I love a charcuterie. I think it has helped elevate the idea of snacks being the meal. And like, there's no shame around it. And also now there's like girl dinner, boy dinner, whatever.
Yeah.
But there truly is something for everyone. And it's
Yes.
expanded past just cheese and meats. Like there are now like, I don't know, themed parties where it's like everybody gets assigned a board and there's a dessert board and whatever. And I can totally relate.
Yeah.
It really does bring the people together.
It does. You can have meats on there, strawberries. I mean, you can get real fancy with it. You can put a little caviar on there. I mean, I've spent and I used to do cheese boards on the side.
Oh,
What
well, now
job
we
hasn't
know.
Einstein? Right. If you need a cheese board, I used to go to people's houses and set it up back when I was living in DC. That was like one of my 15 jobs that I had. But, it's pretty lucrative. Everybody loves a cheese board.
Yeah, and it's also, I'm sure it's an investment too, because it is not cheap to make a cheese
boards? Right. Like
It
when
is
you get
deceivingly expensive, actually.
my friends are always like, okay, I'll make the meatloaf. Dre, you got the cheese board? I was like, okay, so you want me to spend easily $150? Like, I already see the money or cha-ching being checked off on my credit card. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get the cheese board. Right.
To get us back on track with the many voices that you do.
Yes.
In the voice of Teresa from Real Housewives of New Jersey, can you give us an inside scoop of something that you already hinted at, a new character, but anything else that you're working on, anything that's coming up that we should keep an eye on, anything that you're particularly excited? It can literally be huge, big, small, whatever it is that you would like to share.
So 3 things, all right? So 1, this year I'm feeling creative. I'm out of my rut, so I'm going to be creating. So just follow along for the journey because I don't care what anybody thinks anymore. I'm over it, right? I turned 31 and I don't care. I got gray hair. I don't care. Like, I'm over it, right? So that's 1. 2, I'm in a new movie. It's called Influenced. It's coming to theaters in springtime. We shot this back like 3 years ago. Like, I forgot we shot it. And then I got it. It's by Jill Kargman. She's an amazing writer, director. She also stars in it. And I play a Pilates instructor. And I'm screaming at people. Yeah, so get ready for that, all right? It's called Influence, and it'll be in select theaters. And number 3, I've always been sitting on this story. It's the story of my mom and her 2 sisters, and they're selling the family house. And, like, that was really, really big in our family. It was the funniest thing I've ever had to watch. So that's my project. I'm writing it. It's going to be a short film. Hopefully we turn it into something bigger. But I'm really excited about it. And this is like my biggest project that I've ever done, was just like writing it, you know? So I'm excited. But yeah.
I love that. I'm very excited about all the things. I will keep an eye out for the movie as well.
Thank you.
Continuing the string of thought of dreams.
Yeah.
Aside from the things you just revealed, which are awesome, obviously, in the voice of either a raspy New Yorker or a frat star, your character Chaz.
Oh my God.
Or both, if you want to switch them back and forth.
The fact that Chaz is still on the internet is a crime against humanity. In what God's name? I just saw so many frat guys in college, and like I just had to make fun of them. But like Chaz, like literally, what was I doing?
The sad part is they didn't just stay in college. There are frat adults still roaming the streets. I can pinpoint many in Murray Hill. Okay, we're not. It's not safe out here.
I just can't believe that I made that character. It's so. Oh my God. Yeah.
So in either or both of those voices,
Okay.
What's a dream of yours that you haven't spoken out about yet? Or, you know, it can be a dream collaboration maybe that you're hoping. You've mentioned SNL previously.
Yes.
You know, we'll always go back to the raspy New Yorker. You just can't get away from it. I would say playing, you know Jennifer Esposito?
Mm-hmm.
So I love characters that are just these sultry women, right? And they just go out for badass roles. I would love to portray something like an NYPD, you know, anything CSI. I'll be the one murdered. I don't even care. You know, the ultimate dream would be a police officer or CSI. I would love to play one of those roles, but, you know, it's hard to get into that because there's like a select few. There's like 3 spots available. So you got to get in when you got to get in. But eventually one day I will play that in a movie or a sitcom or some type of show. But I'm going to do it. And it's going to be great.
I think I want to do that because I love this like badass archetype character, and I never get to portray that because I'm always goofy and wearing a wig and being silly. But there is something so powerful about that female role, like the female cops, and kudos to all of the law enforcement people that I don't even know how you are in law enforcement right now in this state that we're in is just absolutely insane. But to portray one on TV would be very fun and always a dream of mine.
Oh my God, I would love, especially because, I mean, you've already demonstrated so much range. It would show that even further of like, oh, she
really
can also
fun.
be serious
Really
and
fun.
do these types of
Right.
roles as well. I do want to go a click deeper into SNL because you have mentioned it so much.
Yeah.
What would people be surprised to know about the process of even those who we do see on SNL currently, what it takes to make it? You've mentioned a couple auditions, so what has been your experience? And also being in the industry, what do people talk about?
Yeah. It's I think every year it's different. Depends on what they're looking for, of course. But what they're really, really, really interested in is someone who is strong in writing, who's strong in characters, who's strong in development, who's extremely creative. I think I've lacked when I auditioned. I think I lacked my writing skills were not where they needed to be. And I'm so reliant on my voices. Like that's my craft. That's what I really, really work at. So you have to be like extremely well-rounded for them to like really, really consider you. So you send in it's a 5-minute tape of usually original characters and other impressions. And then you move on to the next round, and that is in front of a live audience, the public. There's some people there that are just, you can go to the shows if you want. It happens around August time. There's also industry people at the show as well. And then once you finish that, it depends on how the audience reacts to you. If they love you, then obviously you move on, and somebody saw you, they see something in you, and you move on to the next, which is performing in front of Lauren. So I've done the in-person auditions twice. The first year that I did it, again, that was right after Bring the Funny back in 2020, I want to say, or 2019. And then the most recent one was this year. I did it again. And again, I felt a little bit, I wasn't as nervous this year, but again, I just don't think that the writing wasn't where it needed to be, and the originality. They really, really want these original characters, because they turn that into, that becomes like a sketch. Kristen Wiig, she auditioned with Target Lady, and we saw how well Target Lady did, right? Like, oh my God, you're aisle 5! Like that. That is one of the funniest characters, and that was in her audition. So I think they're just looking for something really, really specific. You've got to have, it's got to be the perfect storm. You've got to have what they're looking for, and it's hard. It's definitely, you're going up against also a lot of comedians. So you've got your set, and you're back in stage with them, and it's not as fancy as you think. Like, it's literally like you show up with wigs, and you just have to, like, while you're switching wigs, it's silent. Like, it is very much a, what are we doing? Like, is this real? Like,
is this a simulation?
Am I in a simulation right now? Because that's what it feels like when nobody's laughing, and you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna switch my wig, and now I'm Sophia, and it's just like, what is happening? But so it's not as glamorous as I think everyone like maybe makes it out to be. Mm-hmm. That would be what I say about it. But again, I mean, there's people that have auditioned 8 times. There's people that we know that are very well known that went on to do an amazing job, and they've got acting roles, and they never got on SNL. And I'm not closing it out to myself, mm-hmm. but it's still. I don't know if it's like the end all be all for me anymore. Yeah. So I've had to kind of like release that as like the dream. But I love watching it. I'm a very avid watcher. I love Marcelo Hernandez. I think he does an amazing job representing the Latino culture. I love watching him in Bad Bunny, him and Cardi B. Like I could watch him do anything really. I think he's extremely talented, and they did an amazing job selecting all of their cast. But he hits it home, because a lot of the Latin tropes that he is able to do is relatable. I get it.
You mentioned earlier that if people get nothing else, you want them, to kind of see your work and laugh, or forget about the serious things that life comes with. In addition to that, what is the ultimate goal? Like you mentioned, not necessarily making it big is the goal, because that's not your measure of success, but like what does success look like for you now? And I'm sure it's changed throughout the years as well.
Continuing to get out authentic stories or characters. I think as much as, well, when people do reach out to me and I'm in a sad mood or whatever, and they tell me like, hey, my mom was going through chemo, and we would watch her videos together. Like, that was one of the most meaningful messages I've ever received in my life, because I was like, you guys watched me while you were going through something so painful, and I was able to bring laughter, levity, like that just gives me so much purpose. To keep on continuing with purpose and having a reason to continue to create. I think creativity is such an amazing thing that we have, like it's what comes out of here. You can just sit at a table and just like write out whatever you're thinking. It's pretty cool. And for that to turn into something big is amazing. So I hope to just continue creating and never give up on the dream. I think it's so easy to just be like, all right, yeah, we're wrapping this one up, right? I think if I, end up having, I'll focus on like a family and raising kids, but I definitely always want to have this creative outlet of voices, and I will always have a bin of wigs until I am old and gray. I will always have that, because that's a part of me.
Yeah, amen to that. What is that balancing act of developing characters or, writing a joke, things like along those lines that are about things that you're passionate about, and then also intersect with something that's happening around the world and the timeliness component of it, because it can be tricky.
It can be. And also, don't put too much pressure on yourself. I think we all do. We're like, oh my God, this has to be put out right now because it's so relevant, and like this is the news, and it's New Year's, or Heated Rivalry came out and everybody was obsessed with that, or the state of the world, like we have to release something about whatever's happening with the border, and like it becomes overwhelming at times, right? So I just try to say, am I able to do this well? Will it sit right with people? I don't want to cross too many lines. I stay away from the really, really intense political things because I want people that are actually meant to handle that. I think I stay in my lane in terms of like what my realm of characters are. But give yourself grace. So, like sometimes I'm like, okay, I really cannot do this video and like put this out right now. So it has to just be like, I have time for this. I really want to put a lot of focus into this, and it's going to be good, and I'll release it and I'll put it out. But yeah, it can be very overwhelming where you're like, this, oh
Absolutely.
my God, this just happened and I have to do this, you know, but.
And then sometimes you see quality being sacrificed as a result to rushing to be next or on top of it or whatever the case it may be.
Totally.
And we see that in journalism all the time as well.
Totally. And then if you don't do your research properly, somebody would be like, actually, that's not right. Like, did you fact check that? And I'm like, all right. So you want to make sure that you're actually putting out real news or, you know, things that are true.
To close us out, a two-part question. Number one, is there anything else that you want to share that we haven't touched on? And then also number two, where can people find your work if they haven't come across it already?
Well, I just wanted to give kudos to you. I think you're an amazing interviewer. I think you're incredible, and I hope you continue this show because I think you're getting out really important stories. So, the well-researced from top to bottom. The fact that you know Chaz is just like that, the nail on the head. Like, she knows what she's doing. And I just, no, I think I mentioned a lot of the projects that I'm working on. There is this one dream that I do have, which is writing a one-woman show, and it focuses around being a twin that I ate my twin. Like I don't know if I'll call the show I Ate My Twin, but it'll be something along those lines with like multiple personalities but that's always been another, throw it in the bag of like unfinished projects that I have in the works. But you guys can find me at Andrea Lopez Comedy. Yeah, I really thought about changing the name a million different times, but there's a million Andrea Lopez's in the world, so I had to throw on another word in there. So TikTok, Instagram, Andrea Lopez Comedy. And my website, I usually put news on my Instagram stories, though, so you'll find that there. I'm an Instagram girly because I'm a millennial, so that's my main app.
Okay, amazing. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
I hope you had as much fun as I did. You have my support, continuous support, obviously. Acá estás en tu casa, as we say in our culture. And best of luck. Not that you need it, but rooting for you.
Gracias.
For you always.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun. You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching and listening. Until next time.